going on, everybody? Back here on this tight tank job by the lake. Lake looks good this morning. I don't know why I didn't start my video out there. Maybe next time I will. Next video, be starting out by there. But this is where we left off yesterday. And this is what we showed up to this morning. Nice thing of groundwater. It's deep too. Great. I mean, where's the midway in the tank? There's the midway in the tank. So we got probably a foot, 2 feet of water. So that's fun. I figured out yesterday off camera. For some reason, hang on. For some reason, I was looking at the plans for the new tank versus the old one. Took measurements. This tank is exactly the same footprint as far as length and width goes of... Oh, 1 second. Always something going on. This is the same exact length and width as the new tank going in, but the new tank is not as deep. So this tank is about a foot and a half deeper than the new tank. So we're gonna have to put a foot and a half of stone in here anyways. That's weird, my camera just died, so it's out of battery even though I have 50%. That was really weird. Anyways, so we're gonna have to put a foot of stone underneath it anyways to make up for that difference to get from our out pipe coming out of the house, aka inlet, to the bottom of our tank. So hopefully that'll get us out of the groundwater at least a bit, but we'll see. We still got to demo this tank. I got stone coming in this morning. I got to figure out how much stone I need. I'm gonna definitely order more than I need, and that way too, if I end up putting... Alright, just switched out batteries. You just did it to me again. Hopefully this one's good. This one's 100%. Anyways, as I was saying, bring an extra stone. Then we can, if I end up putting dirt here in the driveway, I can lose that stone in the driveway and regrade it, give them some fresh stone here to make up for that dirt that's going to be left over. So, not the worst thing if I have extra stone. I'd rather more than less, obviously, and that, and it's really my only shot to get stone is today, because tomorrow's the 4th. Everyone's closed over the weekend. Then Monday at 9 to 10, the new tank's coming in, so there's not a lot of time for me to bring in extra stone if I have to bring in any extra. So I'd rather be on the on having too much than too little. So yeah, I guess what they say, more is best, or however it goes. But yeah, so we're gonna be working on digging this out today. Not quite sure how I want to attack this yet. I think I'm definitely gonna have to get the machine over here, which is gonna suck because that hole's right there. But I think I can skirt by on here. I think I'm gonna take this, put it in here to get out to the center. And I'm basically gonna have to dig this whole tank out sideways. That way I can dig it, put it here, and anything I pull out, I can just kind of run along this aisleway and basically back myself out of here. So that's kind of my plan. What I'm thinking, there's really no other option. So yeah, we're gonna put you guys up there today just because it's out of the way. It's a small site, and we'll be safe up there. So we'll start some work here and go from there. See you guys later. Alright guys, what's going on? So, my back. I'm trying to bust up this tank, as you can see. It's not coming out easily or nicely, but it's just getting there. But what I did notice is right there. That's the well line. And on the angle this is at, it goes like right like this. So it gets closer in that corner. Right here, actually back here is the furthest corner, but for that we can see that's the furthest corner, or furthest distance in that corner. It gets closer based off of this angle right here. So, and I already kinked the pipe because I was taking my bucket and breaking the tank to push it in against that bank, and I think I know I creased it because I went down and I looked at it. I didn't see that until the dirt fell and I saw the well line just barely exposed. As you can see right there, it's just in the bank, but just enough out to where it could get clipped. So I'm not familiar, to be honest. I'm not familiar with, oh, I scratched my back. Oh yeah. I'm not familiar with the code concerning well lines. Each town's different also. Typically you want 10-foot separation between sewer line and your water line as typical, just rule of thumb building code for sewers.
Hey Connor.
Hey John.
I spoke to Howard, who lives down the street, is on the board, the health board, but he wouldn't know what to do from anything. He has no idea how it's supposed to be.
Oh really? So it's an inspector question?
Yeah, it has to come from the health inspector, which he's trying to make a call now to find out when that person would be available.
The tank and the deck, the line runs right there, and...
What do you mean the deck? The staircase, or...?
No,
just the deck upstairs a little bit?
Yeah, the deck that comes from like the driveway portion before you go up the stairs, okay. Like right where the tank is, between the deck and the tank, the well line runs right there, and it's like 2 feet 8 inches from the outside edge of the tank, and it looks like it gets closer the further back you go towards the tank. I mean, there's only a small section exposed now, but I can tell by the trajectory of that line that it kind of dives towards that tank more, that corner. So it's probably like 1.5 feet in that closest corner to the tank. And I just know, rule of thumb, typically for like sewer lines and stuff in Mass, is that it's a 10-foot requirement separation between your water supply and your sewage supply. Because if your sewer line breaks and for some reason you have a break in your water line, they don't want your sewage ending up in your water. So yeah. That's why I say I don't know what well lines are. I know from the well to the tank has to be 50 feet, and from the leach field to the well has to be 100. I don't know what the well line itself is, but I would imagine it's probably the same rule of thumb that applies to just a standard water line to being 10 feet. For right now, we're shut down. We gotta get someone out here to look at it and tell us, or give us a thumbs up, whatever, but I'm not gonna put it in and have problems down the road. So when it comes time for inspection, so I'm doing the safe bet and just making everyone aware of it now. And even if they say no, it's fine, at least there's record of that. So especially where we're working now, it's a tough town to work in, and they're very strict. So I want to make sure that I'm aces with them. That way, whenever I come to work in town again, they go, okay, this guy's good. We know he does the job right. He's gonna let us know of any issues. So definitely don't want to be that guy that hides stuff and tries to get away with stuff. You know, I'm all for, you know, trying to help the client out and stuff like that. But when it comes to situations like this, it's just better off doing the right thing, taking the right steps, shearing on the side of caution, and at least asking. It doesn't hurt to ask before you get too deep into it. So that's where we're at now. What's going on, you guys? So little update on that job. Just had a 4 or 5 hour meeting with the town. It's a long meeting, but we got everything pretty much, I don't want to say ironed out, but we have a plan moving forward. So essentially what we're going to do is we got to go to a meeting Wednesday of this week last minute, gonna be on their agenda for them, which is huge that they can do that for us. And we got to propose basically the situation to the town inspector and see what he says and what the board says, the Board of Health, because there's more than one member on the Board of Health, and they basically all have to have majority vote for a solution and think of something. So we're kind of at a standstill as far as progress goes until then. We will be able to demo the existing tank. I gotta get a hammer in there now to hammer that tank out, because as you guys saw, that thing was just not coming out very nicely. And also that well line is so close to that back corner. If I rip it out, like I have been, where I'm putting my bucket against the bank and peeling inwards and trying to break up that tank, I run the risk of hitting that well line again, so I don't want to keep breaking it. So we're going to get a hammer in there, that way we can nice and gingerly take that tank apart and break it up into small chunks and either use it as fill or haul it off or whatever. So we'll be able to do that, which will be good until we wait. So Monday we'll be able to do that, Tuesday, and then Wednesday's the meeting. So we're not down too much time. There was talks too about shifting that tank a little closer to the fence because the town wanted the new tank in the same exact location as the old tank because of property boundaries. So they said, well, we're willing to kind of let you maybe, get a little bit closer to that boundary than what we originally were letting you know. So it's all going to depend on Wednesday. So I already spoke to the client. He's up to speed on it, and yeah, so nothing we can do. Tomorrow's the 4th. I couldn't work there anyways tomorrow because it's on the lake, and everyone, of course, is going to be on the lake tomorrow, so no one's going to want to listen to hammers and stuff going on in the lake. So just figured I won't even work tomorrow. Normally I would if it was somewhere, not like that, but that's fine anyways. I have plans for tomorrow that I got, so that's perfectly fine. And plus everyone's closed tomorrow too anyway, so there's not much we can do as far as that goes. And then the weekend, and then Monday we'll head to the Kubota dealership, pick up a hammer, and hammer away. So we will see you guys Monday. Alright guys, well that was an epic fail. I went to a dealer I don't normally go to, about 45 minutes, 50 minutes from my shop. And then I called them this morning. They said they had the hammer, and then when I got there they said no, it's actually the hammer that's down in the shop for repair, so we don't have one. So then she called the office I usually go to, which is closer than this one, and she said yeah, they have one. And I said, well, I called them on Friday and they said it was out till Monday the following week, and the second one was out for a whole month. And she said nope, I just called them, they said they had it. So I called them to verify it, and they said yep, it's back. So that kind of sucks. I probably should have thought to call them first thing this morning, but I figured nothing changed since Friday. But anyways, that was a complete waste of time going out this way. But we're headed back now to go to my other dealer, what I usually deal with, and pick up the hammer now, and then load it up and head to the job site. So I'm gonna see if I can get a price from it too. I'm buying it. I might just buy the thing. They offered it to me a while ago and I didn't take it because I really don't use it that much. But then recently I've been using it, and basically I probably could have paid for it at this point if I had just bought it to begin with, but I didn't back then, and they don't want too much for it. So I'll have to talk to them again, see if that price still stands. And the good thing is this time around for this rental I can roll the cost of that into purchasing it. So if I spend $300, $400, $500, whatever, $100 on it for the rental, they deduct that off the buyout price. So I'll have to see what they can do for me, because it will be a few days for renting it, so might as well take advantage of that and use that to get the price kind of knocked down on the buyout. So I think at this point it'll be worth it, because I've rented it probably 2 or 3 times within the last year. Before then I rented it maybe once or twice through the whole life of this machine. So it just seems like I'm kind of running into situations more and more where I need it. It's not like I'll lose money on it. I mean, I can always rent it out if I wanted to, or I could, or when I get situations like this where it's additional costs, I just roll it into the cost of change order or whatever. So I definitely don't think I'd get hurt on it. So, but like I say, we'll talk to them, see what they want to do. But we're gonna head there now, and then to job site. See you guys in a bit. Thinking too, it probably would have been way easier to hook into the coupling on that, with take the bucket off and hook into the coupling, get out of the truck. But sometimes it's not that easy just rolling into it. It can get a little tricky to get that on, and it's just easier to grab it with the thumb and get out of the truck and then mess with it on the ground. So that's why I did that. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, you're probably right, it would have been easier. Probably greased this before I hook up to it. Alright, so got the hammer on, machine's off. So now on these Kubota KX04s, what you have to do is you have to come in here, under the hood, get the hood to stay. Hang on. Once you get the hood to stay, you're gonna come here. So you got your hydraulic tank right here, and right to the right of it is gonna be this valve right here. You're going to turn it so that you are, actually, let me think about this real quick. No, you're not going to do that yet. You're going to want to change the direction of your flow on your boom here. You're going to want to turn these the other way so that they're not flowing to your thumb anymore. You are flowing to this. Wait a minute, let me think about this. Yeah, you're gonna want to turn it to that. So do that. You have these on either side. This one, that one, and then you change your auxiliary settings on the machine to, I believe, single instead of multi, and that way you can, all the hydraulic is going down instead of two-way. I think it turns it into one-way, something like that. So it looks like we did it in the right order. If you do it in the wrong order, the thumb will just drop, and then you have to turn it back on, pick up your thumb. You do it that way. So put our thing back in the machine, and then you have to turn this valve. Has to go this way. And our thumb didn't drop, so that's good. So we changed the direction of that. And here's your thing right here, your chart. Two-way, one-way. And this is a little confusing. I actually asked my dealer about this one time. They said that the way it is now, so this means it's in one way, and turning it up means it's in two-way. So if you turn this to up, means it's one way, and if you turn this to that, it means it's two-way. I don't know why they did that, but it's super confusing. And you'll know when you set your hammer up too that it's not right. I don't know what happens if you don't do it right, but that's just what I was showed. I always done it that way, so make sure you do that. And then the fun part, we hook up our hydraulic fittings to these. These can be really tough, but I'm gonna clean those off and then start hooking that up. So. You gotta clean this because these are always dirty. They are always dirty. That. Well, that one went good. They make like these little clamp things. They're like regular C-clamps, but they clamp to this, and you can just clamp it, get it in. Definitely think that's something I should invest in. But for now, we're doing it the old Emmanuel way. Same thing on this side. Clean that. Clean inside your rack here. Clean this. Your other fitting. How dirty that is. That all will end up in your hydraulic oil. That's what one thing I learned too, is that there's this little ball right here. Sometimes if like this ball has been whacked off a couple times, this collar will actually turn and cover that ball, and then you're trying to push this down and get it in, and it won't let the collar release because it's up against that ball. So you always want to make sure this little window, you can see your little knob, and pull it down too. Well, it'll usually go down when you push it in. Yeah, that's the hard side right there. I don't know why, but there's always a hard side. All right. wire mesh on it, so it's not breaking up that easily, but definitely easier than banging the machine around, that's for sure. So happy about that. Fortunately, it's one of those things that's just slow and steady. You know, I got to hammer for a little bit, switch up, back, put my bucket back on, dig it out, go back to my hammer, dig it out, and keep repeating that process because I don't have two machines here. Even if I did, there's no room for two machines. So it's all part of it, unfortunately. Yeah, slow going. So we will see. For now, I'm just going to throw everything in the fill pile, and I think as I backfill, I'll take the big pieces out and either, I don't know, bury them somewhere that's next to the tank. Now, obviously not going to just hurt the tank at all, or just get rid of it. Either way, it's got a lot of metal in it, so I'll probably end up hauling it off. But and then the smaller pieces get backfilled just as regular fill. The stuff that's 2-3 inch, whatever. It's no big deal. But that's also another thing too, trying to get as small as I can. That way, the less I have to haul off, the better. But yeah, just it's slow going. So unfortunately, it's the way I have to do it too, with the way it's laid out. With this corner here, I got to fill it with dirt. If I had all the room in the world, I could dig this whole thing out and just hammer it all in one shot. But I'm kind of backed into a corner here, and trying to keep the job site as safe as I can, but while also trying to be as efficient as I can too. So yeah, tomorrow will be the same thing, and hopefully we'll get most of this done tomorrow, if not all of it. And yeah, and then we got a meeting on Wednesday to determine how to move forward on this. So yeah, that's all we got going on here, and we'll pick up with you guys tomorrow.